Good afternoon, it's Lindsay, and is Saturday, December 28th, 2024. And so I'm just going to make a video while it's on my mind. Because basically, whenever this targeted individual program thing goes, okay, with me, I've talked about and I've been very open about how I was being exploited and harassed and taken advantage of by certain people for the past for the past like almost 2 years, and it had a lot to do with that legal situation, that probate thing. And so of course with that, I basically have been manipulated. This is an update on this legal situation. Is it my mother? Because basically it's obvious that this sibling stole from the inheritance, and I knew that from the very beginning, that he stole money and other things from the estate of Alan Baldwin, who I still think he's my father. My mother swears that he's not, but you know what? I don't believe a fucking word she says because she's a liar and she's a narcissist, so I don't really believe her. I still believe deep down that this man is my biological father. And that's what I feel. I mean, I look just like him, it's like fucking obvious to me. But anyway, my mother, I had to, because I was seeking more legal help to try to contest what happened with that whole probate thing. I got punished and threatened. She told me that she was going to kick me out of this house, that she was going to have, that there was somebody putting a for sale sign on the house if I didn't comply with her demands, as far as telling the attorney ad litem to drop the case immediately. Or because I was being threatened by Kenny Baldwin. She literally was threatening to kick me out of this house. So I had to, and she said, you better stop contacting that attorney. You better quit giving her money, because, and see, why would she be doing that unless she's doing that because she knows that Carter stole from the estate and that they're trying to hide something. Otherwise, why would she make such a big deal about that, you see? And so she was threatened. Like I said, I was being threatened. She was being very abusive. And so I had to tell the attorney ad litem, fine, it's over. The case is closed, because I'm being harassed by Kenny, telling me that if I don't comply, that I'm going to get kicked out of this house, so I had to drop the case, even though I'm a fighter and I believe that I am entitled to know the truth, but whatever. So this is just how this kind of shit works. And so now, of course, because I've been going to a different gym location for a while now, and I'm okay, whatever. I don't have any expectations at any of these Gold's gyms. I just go there and do my thing and try to be well-mannered and respectful towards people, and that's all I do. I just have made a commitment to myself to not really to not get too involved with people, as far as like, what I mean. I really have to not talk to people, stay to myself, because for my own protection, even though I know that there's probably nice, good people there, just like at any gym, there's always nice people, but I have to be really careful. I have to be very careful about what I say about everything, because people get easily offended. They'll say something, and then the next thing you know, I get more targeted and gang stalked, and I've already gone through that because it's corporate. The thing is like, okay, and I'm smart enough to figure this out. Obviously, whenever a person goes to a gym or whatever, a workplace, a gym, especially when there's contracts involved, when you sign any kind of a contract, it's like you as long as you're on the property of that place, you have to obey by their rules, or else there's going to be consequences. Now that's common sense. You go someplace, you've signed a contract, you're using their facility, you're using their equipment, you have to obey by their law, their rules. That's common sense, and that's common respect. I understand that. However, I guess the problem is with contracts is that a lot of the times you don't know exactly what, like, the problem with that I have is that for me, I've noticed that every time I sign any contract, which I've done in the past, I guess they seem to think that that also gives them some kind of right to exploit people and do things of which people are being taken advantage of in ways like via the media, harassing or people or whatnot. That's what happens. And I know for a fact that that's happened to me as far as like contracts that I've signed, that they all of a sudden feel that they have some kind of right to dig into your past and to exploit you in ways. And they use the flying monkey narcissistic gang stalking people to mess with you. And that's part of my problem, is that I've been fighting the fact that, like, I know that I've been exploited at some of these places, different locations, and I know I'm smart enough and perceptive enough to know that a lot of the times when they target people who are dissidents, who are outspoken for whatever reason, that they use they do use the media. They can use the media, for example, to target you, to get you out, to try to get you to conform, or to get you to send you a message that they don't want you there, or to mock you, or things like this. They do. This is something that targeted individuals experience. I'm not the only one, and I know that other targeted people have talked about this, only to get discredited even more. But whenever you have the discernment, when you have been targeted, when you have that kind of intuition, and you know what gang stalking is, you know all the terminology about narcissistic abuse, because you've gone through the fucking abuse cycle over and over again many a times, and you've survived these kinds of things. You've survived a lot of different things in your life, and you've come out alive. Well, they're gonna use these kinds of things to exploit you in a lot of ways. And so like I said before, I've gone through a lot in the past year and a half. I went through the probate thing. I was exploited. I was lied to. I had things stolen from me. I was abused by a narcissistic half sibling. I was abused by my mother. Manipulative as far as coercive abuse, psychological abuse. And of course I would fight back using my mouth, my words. And I get angry, and I say things, and I get really fucking pissed off. And that's something that I do because I feel that if you don't use your words to speak against people committing atrocities and wrongdoings against you, then who's going to speak up for you? Nobody. You think that somebody is going to come save you, like some kind of God is going to come down and from some whatever, and all of a sudden everything's going to be okay. No, you have to actually be your own advocate, okay? And it's not pleasant. People don't like you. And I know that I have a lot of enemies. I know that there's people who can't stand me in public, or here in San Antonio, or at the gyms, at the various Gold's gyms. And you know what? I quite frankly don't fucking care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I used to get all upset and offended and get my feelings hurt, but I feel that for the most part, because of what I've already gone through and what I've survived, it's made me stronger. It's made me all the buttons that these fucking narcissistic people do to push your buttons, to harass you, to do things. It actually, in the long run, it does what they don't realize is that